Okay, so on screen you can see that I'm joined by another very special guest, and we're going to be learning a lot today. So let's start off with a bit of an introduction. So over to you, please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Jordan. I work for Greater Anglia within the resourcing team. I'm the talent resourcing advisor, and I look after the train presentation, engineering, and train service delivery functions.
Incredible. So I suppose, we've heard from Roxana and she's told us what it's like to be a trainee driver. We got some really great information from there and some great advice. Now I want to kind of pull a little bit more from that hiring perspective. So for all the young people, what sort of skills are you looking for in a potential train driver?
I think there are various sets of skills that you need to become a train driver, but I think there's a few that stand out more than most. I think the ability to concentrate and focus for long periods of time is one. Being able to pay attention to detail, being patient, having the ability to remain calm in stressful situations and working under pressure. These are all essential to the role of the train driver, given the level of responsibility a train driver has, especially when it comes to the safety of our passengers.
Absolutely. And I think it's about for young people, I suppose, looking at what it is that they're part of now, isn't it? In school or wherever they're at, whether they've got a part-time job, they're doing some volunteering or whatnot, is to kind of look at those skills and see what you might need to build on or what you naturally have.
Mm.
What does the recruitment process look like then? I suppose, is it a simple process? How do we go about learning more?
So the layout of the process is quite simple, but there are a lot of different stages. Given, like, as I mentioned before, the safety critical nature of this role, because you are looking after passengers for our services. So once a candidate starts out, they apply for a vacancy when it becomes available, and then once they're in the pool, we send out an online assessment called the Train Driver Situational Judgment Test. Um, all candidates are required to pass this assessment to progress to the next stage. Situational judgment test provides candidates with various scenarios and multiple answers to choose from. Is then up to the candidates to choose which answer best suits that scenario. Um, if you pass that, there's then a second stage called the psychometric testing. This comes in two separate stages, stage one and stage two, but they all test all the same sort of traits. So they assess the concentration, data retention, multitasking, and fault finding, among other traits. These tests are specifically designed to test the candidate's level of ability for these traits. This is an industry standard requirement that every candidate must complete, as I mentioned before, because it is a safety critical role.
I think that's really important, isn't it, to note that because of how important this role is, not only you make a really good point there about obviously the safety of the passengers, but also there's eventually, if you're successful, you're going to be in charge of a pretty big machine, aren't you? That's going
Yeah.
around different routes, etc. But I think that's something that has a lot of responsibility to it, and
Yeah.
it's only right that it deserves that respect in the sense of all of these different bits that you need to go through,
Yeah.
and I think that's really critical, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that's sort of when it leads into the driver manager interview. So once you pass the testing stage, both stages, you're then invited to a interview with the lead driver manager of the area you've applied for, and that covers off like a sort of competency based interview where you look through our company values, demonstrate competency based questions. So it's all around your sort of previous experience in your previous roles, how that sort of can be sort of put into the driver position.
Amazing. Okay, let's move on to, I suppose, now for young people. That's what we've been focusing on, I suppose, today. Well, I suppose as parents, there's going to be teachers, and we're looking for career changes, people that are looking for career changes. You just don't know who's going to come across the content. I wondered if there's an age limit, so lower out or upper, I suppose.
Yeah. So currently there is an age limit, a lower age limit of 21. However, there is no upper age limit. So we actually currently have a driver that's in their 70s. So as long as the driver meets the required medical standards, there is no issue.
Incredible. Good to know. What would you say then to finish off today? Anyone that's thinking about joining the railway from school, the rail industry, and I suppose in any aspect, be it a train driver or the gosh, the amount of roles that are available within the rail industry is just, I mean, we'd be here all day if we listed every single one of them.
Yeah.
There's that many. So, anybody that's thinking about joining the industry, what would you say to them?
So I think to start off, I think the railway is not only a great way to start a potential career, but also a great way to improve yourself. So whilst I didn't come into the rail industry directly from school, I got the opportunity to join Greater Anglia. It's now given me a career track that I didn't really thought I'd even have. So I didn't really think of working in recruitment specifically before, but it's now given me an entire career to go through. And it doesn't, and as you mentioned, it doesn't really matter whether you want to be in a frontline role or an office-based role. The rail industry has a lot to offer and can become the groundwork for a long and successful career.
And one thing that I want to add just before I let you go today is that in previous content and broadcasts that we've been doing, and the different organisations that we've been working with, Greater Anglia are part of the Rail Safe Friendly programme, which is linked to us here. And, the amount of roles that are available and the amount of people that you speak to that have really long careers within the industry is just incredible. You have people that literally come in maybe 18 and have been there until retirement and probably still will continue in whatever role that looks like. I mean, an incredible industry, and I'm just glad that we've had the opportunity today to talk to you, Jordan, to learn a little bit more about what that process looks like there at Greater Anglia. So, a huge thank you for taking the time out and speaking with me today.
Thank you for your time.